Okay, so this week what I want to do is I want to build off what we did last week, where I went over all the fundamental elements of the cartoon face, how you break things down. And what I want to do this week is build upon that. I'm going to go through some really classic cartoon characters, both Western and Eastern or anime, I guess you'd call it, and try and give you the, let's call it, let you borrow my eyes, I guess, as you can see how you pull apart these elements. So when you design your own cartoon characters, you know how to play with it, right? Now that might make no sense because it's a bunch of word salads. So let's just dive into it and I'll show you what's what. So we got our old friend here, probably the king of Western cartoons, at least till the millennials forget he exists, Homer Simpson. Now, I started with him because he's actually a very simple cartoon character to really get this idea across, because anime can be a little more, let's say, ethereal in where the elements are. Once you start to see them, you'll spot them immediately, but if I don't point them out first, you might struggle. Who knows? We're going to try and figure out for you. So, you remember from last week, we broke down the major elements are the head, eyes, eyebrows, and mouth as your most important, right? These are your big ones. These ones are more important than anything else. And then after you have those are your decorative elements, right? Things like your nose, ears, eyebrow shape, hair, accessories, top of the hair, top head, hair, side, back, earrings, clothes, blah, blah, blah. But this one goes on forever. So, one of our friend over Simpson here, you'll see he's already missing all of his hair, so that's going to remove one of our decorations. Starting with his eyes, you'll see he's got two circles, right? Simple. We go over here, it's just circles, right? Then we have, let me put it right next to it so you can see the general shape right there. He has circles for eyes. Very, very simple, right? His eyebrows, you'll see they just do this. They're just this one little bump here. That's how that's been done. There's no like big eyebrow, even though you could add them if you wanted. Just a little bump. His mouth, simple. Oh, I should, of course, start with his head shape, which, if you'll look, is actually kind of like this. He actually just has like a big cylinder, right? He just kind of does that. And with that, that horrifying picture you have there is kind of the basis of Homer Simpson, right? I keep tracing it, or I could just decorate on top of it. What I'm going to do show you, right? You start with your big cylinder. I'll even go, I'll do it next to it. Yeah, I think that would be better, actually. Sorry, just moving some layers around. Right, so let me keep moving on. His nose, right? See, his nose has this kind of shape. Right, you're just breaking it apart and then putting it back together, right? There's his nose. And I guess his mouth has this big, this kind of thing, right? Aftershave thing. Right? Ears. You can see his ears are like this little shape like this, right? Are you kind of seeing how you just sort of break these things apart and just put them in the right spot? Right? I imagine, I mean, I used to do this, but I imagine it's not dissimilar for other artists, is you tend to sort of see the whole thing and go, I could never draw that, rather than just looking at the individual pieces and going, oh, I mean, you could probably walk up to anybody on the street and say, hey, can you do this? They could probably do that, right? Can you do a line like this? Yeah, I can do a line like this. Yeah, well, if you take all of these and add them together, right? I do one of these lines and one of these lines and one of these lines. All of a sudden, you have the basis of Homer Simpson's ear. Then you just put it in the right place. Kind of see what I'm getting at? Why cartooning isn't actually that scary? Just learning where the pieces go and to see the little individual pieces. Actually, his ear should be a little lower. Should be, you can see here it's about bottom of his nose, so it should be about there. Right? Moving on, moving on, moving on. Ears, eyebrow shape. Homer didn't have some, which is messed up. Got that classic M on the side of his head, and then these two lines here. Right? Accessories, let's call that right here's an accessory, right? Just like that, we now understand Homer Simpson. Oh, he needs eyes, eh? Right? Y'all with me? Makes sense. Simple cartoon character. Could you go draw Homer Simpson right now if I told you to? Could you tell someone else how to draw Homer Simpson? There you go. You guys understand what I'm talking about here, where you break apart these individual pieces? Now, before I go forward, I'm going to just give you some ideas to play with here. You can very easily go within these frameworks and play with it, right? You could say, I want to give him a different nose. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this nose. We just know it goes between the eyes and the mouth. That's where a nose goes, and he's going to have a nose like this, right? Let's say we want to give him, I don't know, we want his ears to be really big. We want comical ears, right? So we do this, right? See that? And we go, I don't like his eyebrows. Let's give him some big, silly eyebrows. Those are way too silly. Let's, some little ones. Yeah, or maybe just like this, right? His hair, I don't know. We're going to give him a little tiny pompadour. Just sits on top of his head. See it? Say you just play with the elements, where the elements go. Let's, we'll save that. It's a beautiful kind of horrifying. We'll put Homer back. We're going to put that next to it just so we remember what we did. Never forget. Okay. Yeah, essentially, right? Okay. What I just showed you there is really the basis of all of cartooning. Let's try Lois Griffin. I'm going to do a girl from Western, because Western tends to be a little simpler than Eastern, generally. I mean, there's unfortunately, I know this is really just kind of a broken record on my part, but there's kind of a lack of diversity in the Japanese these days, whereas Western still kind of, there's no real hard style. There's a lot of variation between the cartoons. But this is neither here nor there. We're talking about how to draw cartoons. So we're looking at Lois's head shape. Take a second, think about what is her head shape, right? Strip away all of the noise, the eyes, the hair, the nose. What underneath all of this? And if you're figuring this stuff out and you want to kind of get your, let's call it your sea legs for cartoons, or your cartoon legs, nothing wrong with tracing, right? So hopefully you come up with something like this. Okay, that's her head shape. Should have something kind of like this. Kind of like a little pear, right? Now at this point you can keep tracing to kind of get the feel for how the shape should I guess feel under your hand as you make them, or you can just turn it off. We'll turn ours off. Draw along. Right? So there we have our base. Okay, moving down. We did our head. Check. What's next? Eyes. Okay. You can see she has, it's not quite a circle, it's a circle with a line on top here. I guess I picked an angry Lois, but in that example by Osaka, they're full circles. So follow the reference here, and we can see her eyes kind of look like that, right? Okay, we'll grab those. We see the one eye sits right around this little fold of her head. And there's another one over there. Actually, they're a little big. A little on the big side. Maybe something like that. Okay, it's a little creepy. Okay, what's next? Scream it at the screen for me. Eyebrows and mouth. Now the eyebrows, you can see, are probably these. You could argue these are her eyebrows. Sitting on top here. So we'll just move on to the mouth. Where's her mouth? Hopefully you can find it. It's right there. So Lois is a good second one to come on, because her mouth, because it has the lips, has those kind of subsidiary elements. Remember I was talking about, where like there's these parts that come off, where this might be the head, but the lips would be like the top lip and the bottom lip and the teeth, and the tongue, and the back of the throat, and so on and so forth. Lois has a very simple mouth. Part of why I picked her for this example. As you can see, she has a top lip. Right? There's the top lip. There's a bottom lip. And then closer. These ones kind of line right up. And you'll get an eye for how these things should fit together as you keep practicing, right? And then here's her tongue in the back, right? So you see there's this 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, right? You got to learn to think in these elements, these little puzzle pieces. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Take that. And we want to give her a big mouth. You can give her a big, stupid frog mouth or a little itty bitty mouth that's just going me, 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 me. It's your world, man. The fun of cartooning. So this kind of sits real close to the bottom of the chin. Everyone following along? No one's lost? Take a sip of my coffee while I wait. I'll wait. I want to see at least somebody type something. I just want to see a little someone's typing. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. There we go. Okay, perfect. Moving on. Nose. So her nose is... If this confuses anybody, I'm afraid you're not going to make it in the arts. That's her nose. It's look at it's just a Dorito. Right? There's a little bit at the bottom, actually. Right? Now, where does the nose go? It goes right there. Look at that. Yeah, you can see it comes down most of the face, a little over the eye. Right? Boom. Right? Let's give her... I keep not drawing the eyes, which the pupils. Right? So moving on. Ears. Her ears are not visible, but we do see this little fella right here. And notice it. Remember to use other elements to line things up. This thing should line up at the bottom of the nose. Right? So we go to the bottom of the nose, go over. We know that this little earring goes here. Bing, bang, boom, right? Same thing, like when I was placing the mouth, I watched for... Here it lines up with about the center of her eye. The mine is about right. I'm doing all of these in my head. But if you're getting kind of lost, like why doesn't my thing look right? Draw the actual lines, measure it out, right? You'll see this one should also go pretty much center of the eye, center of the eye. See, does that make sense to you? That's how I place things. Hopefully it helps you place things. Let's see, eyebrow shape. No hair. Hair always ties things together, right? So breaking down her hair, we see there's a line up here, right? There should be a little, what do you want to call that? Upside down bird. I don't know, right? And we have this line here. Right, we have a line like this, and then we have a line like this, right? There's a little one right here under the earring. So 3 lines, right? Remember, you're breaking it down. So we have one here. Gets pretty close to the eye. This goes here, a little bit there, and then she should have a neck, eh? Looks a little less horrifying. This one comes up around the side. Right? Just like that, we've drawn Lois. Clean it up, get the crap out of there. Right? You can then, of course, decorate with her little shirt here if you want. Oh, we forgot a really important element. Little eyelashes. Beep, beep. There you go. You see the magic? You can draw any cartoon character you want now. Now, that's some simple Western ones. Let's dive into what we're all here for, really, because we're all scholars, gentlemen, and academics. Anime. Turn that off. I got Levi here. Who? Oh, someone requested. There's it. Right, Dragon did. So, and the other one I have here is Luffy and Mila or whatever the name was. I'm afraid I forgot it. I think you said Mila. Mila Maxwell. Okay, perfect. Start with let's do Mila. She's a little friendlier angle. Hers is kind of looking down because I grabbed one that's on hard mode. So, doing Mila here. She has the absolutely classic anime head shape, which is really a circle is your base. And then there's this kind of line like this, but these curves are much more subtle. And there's another line like this for the chin, right? So you have your big circle, and then you have this ever so slight curve. See, that's just, it's so gentle, but you want just the slightest super, you can see it here on her, right? See that? There's like just this super slight curve to her face, right? And that's it's a real trick to show off your anime, is just kind of just gently gently curve it. There we go, right? Okay. Real gentle. Now, yeah. Yeah, so anime is a lot of fun because the nose, or we'll do the mouth. The mouth is you can see here is this kind of shape. Anime mouths and noses are so non-existent, which is fun because anime is all just hair and eyes. Okay. Grabbing the eyes, this is where it gets kind of tricky because this anime eyes are really, I could do a whole lecture on them because they have so many elements within them. Because there's like the eyebrows or the eyelashes here, which kind of do this. Okay, we break down the shape of the eyelashes. There's this little one down here, and then there's also big ring on the iris, right? And then there's this big shiny shape, and then there's pupil, and then there's this like little stuff underneath it. And you can see how you can, like, these eyes themselves break down into a world of their own. Versus like Lois's eyes were just, there you go, right? It's like 3 lines. Whereas this anime eye, it's pretty developed, right? So be careful of anime eyes. Right? I don't want to get too lost talking about anime eyes here. These are rather simple. Right? Yeah. Keep these on. Hopefully you guys are still following along here. I didn't get too stupid. And my eyes aren't throwing you off. Everyone's still with me? Can you see the pieces? It's starting to come together. Of course it is. Yeah, you can make any mouth you want. That's the fun thing. You can do one of these. If you're like, I don't want to do a mouth, you can just do a bloop. Right? You can do one of these. It's because the rest of the face isn't quite there yet, so she looks like some freaky alien that's, right? You can do like one of these mouths. It's your world, man. Yeah, well, you can see if we, here, well, actually, let's bring this over and turn it off. And we'll turn it down. Turn mine off. We trace it. You see, that's the shape of it. Right? It's got this kind of, see the shape? And then we look at mine, pretty similar. Right? See it? But this is part of like learning how to pull apart the individual elements and then put them back together. You pull them apart in your head, and then you put them down together on the page. And that's how this whole process works. Anyways, we got our freaky deaky girl here. Let's start decorating this before we all have nightmares. And the nose, look at this. It's just a bloop. Watch. Bloop. There's actually just, it starts fat and then it kind of thins out. If you look at it, see that? It's sort of fat, then it, yeah, like a little teardrop. Like she's crying. It's so small. anime. Okay. And I made the chin a little on the big side. Okay. Cool. There's no ears. Eyebrow shape is pretty much like that with a little bit of a in between there. So, right. One of those, hers are kind of curving in a little bit. Let me get to the fun part. Hair. Now, deep breath. Anime hair. Hopefully you guys were there for the anime hair lecture, so I have to go into it. But there's generally, I'll go over a short version real quick. Is you have your front version. Right, there's sort of your front. Right. Over so you can see the outline in your head. Right. There's your front. There is your side. Right. And this one will change every character. Right. There's a side section. They're the ones, these go over the face generally. Side. Sideburns. But I'm going to write this D sideways. It looks upside down. And then you have the back of your head. Okay. Right. Back. And the back is, of course, behind everything. Okay. So if I'll just take these, I'll show you. Just take them and you can just slap them on top. All of a sudden, our character looks way less horrifying. It's the, let's see, this one should be right. Warp, 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 warp. That one should be above, and we just tweak and fit it, and then we come into our weird little homunculus and get rid of this, and all of a sudden she looks way less horrifying. See that? But all that stuff I just erased, that's really, really important if you're figuring out where to put everything on the anime character in the first place. And that mouth still kind of does look bad, doesn't it? She's doing her whisper thing, so we'll just a little smile there so she looks less crazy. Okay, you see those pieces on anime characters? As we go from Lois Griffin to actually kind of a rather advanced example, because I would say anime is a more advanced cartoon. I would say, as a cartoon expert, I would say that anime is not for the faint of heart. Her eyes on the big side. I suppose I shouldn't get lost in correcting this, should I? I gotta move on. That'll have to do. Boop. Boop. And then, you can decorate it. All right. This one, what we just did here, really follows most anime characters. Most female anime characters, they tend to just have this same exact pattern. Like if we look at Erza, you'll see she has simpler versions of this element, but her head shape's a little more, let's say, intermediate. Why don't you guys shout at the screen, what do you think her head shape is? Shouldn't be very hard. Exactly. It's the classic anime girl head shape. Right? Bucket. I like a bucket? Yeah, sure. So, right, you got your circle. You want to come down, and she's kind of got this. Right, like that. Bring that up. She's got the hard point. A little bit of rotation there. Bum, bum, bum. Eyes. Right, her eyes are kind of doing this. She's mad. Her eyebrows are working at the same time. They're sort of, I don't want to do this. Not into it. Right? Starting to see the shapes at this point? You have to break it down, or are you picking it up? Picking it up? You guys getting it? You hear that? Under her mouth is kind of like that. And her nose, I'm gonna keep going faster because I think you guys are starting to get it, right? Her nose, it's just, look, it's line, line, line. Put them together, right? Comes off this. Probably do better on our chin here. Just give her a big butt chin, right? Here's the era of watch. There's no rules in art. It's actually a little weird to draw with different colors. I have to keep going and switching them. I think it's making it slightly more confusing for myself. Should be higher. No, that's actually kind of in the middle, isn't it? Right there, right, nose. Her ears, you can see a little bit poking out, right? And eyebrow shape, already got that. She doesn't have any thickness to her eyebrows. Hair, got this big one right here, right? There's the side, a little bit comes out. Big one across the front here, little one. Big one across here, it comes out. Comes in a little bit. Kind of a manly chin, didn't I? Yeah, she looks kind of like a dude, doesn't she? We can fix that. Sketchy, 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 sketchy. Boop, boop, boop. Let's fix that chin. It looks dumb. It's the nose. The nose is making it look too bad. Or do you want a manly guy? You want to like watch? Now it's a dude. See that? All of a sudden, Erza has a brand new costume. It's being a dude. What am I saying? Is it Ezra or Urza? Hold on. I just got dyslexia. Is it Urza or Ezra? I've totally lost track of reality here. Ezra. Yes. Urza, right. She's Urza and Ezra. Right. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna leave that as is. I'm not changing that. It is now a dude. But hold on, I'm making this. Oop. Right, and it's kind of missing black and give a nice strong right, here we go. We're gonna just imply a nice strong neck. Right? Anybody looks at the reference image is gonna be very like disappointed. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave that like that. You want to go even bigger with the chin? I think you guys do, right? And go Giga Chad. Watch. You just see how these things are just, you can just play with them endlessly. Right? What kind of nose does a Giga Chad have? Very smaller eyes, right? Giga Chad have smaller eyes. With like some big cheekbones, right? Draw a handsome Squidward if you want. I'm getting distracted, but you get the idea, right? You're just playing with the elements. You could just do it. You could do what I'm doing as a drill, honestly. You could just, like, you know, as a way to practice, go and draw anime characters as gender bent. Right? Play with it. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, you could turn it to Johnny Bravo easily. I could just, right? Oh, he is so square. Great design. But the glass is bigger, right? Actually, all of a sudden, we're going to turn this into... You want Johnny... yeah, Johnny's a great design, right? But now it's Johnny with Erza hair. Right? Because there's no rules in cartoons. Look at the eyebrows. Anyways, I'm starting to play here. I think you're starting to get the idea, right? Do you want another one, or do you want to just watch me keep screwing around? I had a Levi, Goku, and Luffy for anybody. Unless we're getting the idea. Yeah, go another one. I had some more dudes here set up. You want to do Goku? Everyone loves Goku. You guys love Goku, right? Goku's fine. Let's do one more. Show you guys how to do this one like you're practicing. I think that's good. So I am a big fan of trace when you're learning. Don't trace to sell, trace to learn. If you trace to sell, then you're a butthead. If you're just learning, who cares? Right? So remember, where's the first thing? Get your head right. Okay, I want the head. You can see the hairlines under here. Right? And then we have our chin. And as you trace it, you get the sense of that subtlety to the lines, right? If you were to draw it yourself over here, right? Right, you can just do it over here, see if you get the feel of it, or trace on top. If you don't have the feel to get it, just trace it. It's okay, it's not cheating, right? Like if I take mine that I drew over here, freehand, put it on top, that's pretty damn close, isn't it? Why is it close? Because I learned it by tracing. That was it. Right? Okay. So you have your head shape. What's next? Go over here. Oh, I got to figure out the eyes. Okay. So you can trace the eyes, and then honestly, I'd go over to your reference here and try blocking them in. Like, okay, eyes are about, there's a midline, there's an ear. Let's see how I do. So I'm going to put one here. Right, and you can see it's got this kind of shape to it. Right, Goku's got this shape. And this one should be a little fatter. This one should be a little more in. Okay, eyebrows. So he's got nice fun eyebrows, right? We go over, they look like this. Right, you see that? There's the shapes. They look like that. So we put them in. A little higher, right? So weird to keep switching colors. It's throwing off. I assume the different colors help you guys see it. Right. Hopefully they're helping, because they're confusing the hell out of me. And a little bit of this cheek marky stuff. And mine should be a little higher on the face because he's kind of looking down, so it should be probably a little higher up. Yeah, right. He's got the big. Yeah, there we go. That looks closer. That looks closer. There we go. There. I shove my eye a little over. Right. Ready to correct as you go. Yeah, it should be a little further away. So, you guys could draw Goku, right? Because you said you could do Homer. Do you see how to do Goku now? Oh, his ears are messed up. Here, so you can see his ears, like it's quite. Actually, this is wrong. That's not how you draw an ear. This is incorrect. Akira Toriyama, you sneaky son of a bitch. That is not how you draw an ear. That he made this up. This all in here is actually wrong. Oh goodness. Okay, so not to dunk on a dead man. May he rest in peace. We all love his work. Ears. There's this, the outside, and then you have a Y on the inside, right? So you can think of it kind of like there's this sort of outer piece, and then there's this like Y on the inside, right? So this ear should look more like he wants to get accurate, right? We want to get nitty gritty. Anyways, we have an ear. Let's not get too specific with it. It should, remember to look at your areas where like the bottom of it should kind of line up with the bottom of the mouth, and the top here is right around top of the eye. So then we go to ours, there, about there. So take our ear, put it on the side of the head. Right? This is the process. At this point, it's just getting kind of repetitive. You can kind of see it, right? So we got the eyebrow shape that's already in there. Here's a big one. It is his neck. You'll see that this line here lines up about the middle of the eye, so bring it down there. This one here is about middle of the ear, so bring it down there. Right. On a big friggin' neck, because Goku does not miss workouts. Friggin' tank. I love how much Dragon Ball Z has snuck into gym culture. It's great seeing guys in Vegeta shirts with the squat rack. I'm a big fan of that. Okay. The hair. Okay, come over to his hair. You can see there's 3 of them here, right? And here's another one here. We got 4 points on this side, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a little soft section here, right? You see it there. Then there's this big one here, right? Put it in place. Breaking it down, we see another big one here. Put it in place. Another big one here. Put it in place. Big one here. Put it in place, right? You just kind of counting it, right? We see like 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. The general shape looks like this, right? This one does this. Right, you're just breaking the forms down over and over and over and putting it back together. What about the front of his head? We see 3 claw-like formations, right? Here's 1, 2, 3 claws, and it's little, right? And when you're placing it, remember, look at the other landmarks. We see this one should touch right around the top of the eye. We see this little floopy thing comes down and sort of wants to meet the end of the eyebrow here. we see this one comes down to around the middle of this eyebrow, and then this one here tends to follow the side of the head. Right? That's how you place these things. I'll take and put it over on here. Look at that. Suddenly it's Goku. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Alright, watch. Goku. Not Goku. Not Goku. Goku. Not Goku. Goku. Not Goku. Goku. See? You want, you can come in like, oh, I don't know, and suddenly it's Vegeta. Actually, that's not quite right. He has a big, I have to look at it, but I know he has a big Widow's Peak, right? There's a big Widow's Peak. Like a really aggressive one. Right, and then it like comes back, I think. Like that. I don't know. What does Vegeta's hair look like? Vegeta. God. That's a huge Widow's Peak, right? It's just massive. Oh, with the big... Okay, yeah, that looks ridiculous. Okay, yeah. So we got the idea there, except I didn't push it nearly hard enough. Yeah, this should be like, there's this goes to the moon, and then he has got this just... Like it's pretty silly looking. There's like a little bit of a sideburn. It just kind of does this forever. Right? And that's essentially, this isn't nearly big enough. Let's get this bigger. Okay, and there is Vegeta. There you go. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, I think with that, you guys probably have a pretty good idea how to make your own cartoon characters. How to like break down any cartoon character. Do you feel that? Do you feel there's some more confidence in drawing cartoon characters? Next week, I'll go into drawing cartoon bodies, and then probably another one after that where we do how to steal bodies from other cartoon characters, just like this one, because this one was about faces. Okay, so let's get into the Q&A section. I think we're probably pretty good on cartoon faces. I could do them forever, but you probably see the process now. Stop recording.